It was at Etapla in 1917, at the Bullring base camp where training was extreme. Behind the Western Front, oh boys, it was not fun. Yet here it was the British Army's mutiny begun. The official records do not tell the tale, yet those concerned, their memories did not fail to remember Percy Topless, the outlaw in disguise, who led the men in mutiny and broke Britannia's pride. Several thousand soldiers, all absent without leave, and driven to a hatred by what they had received from redcaps and canaries and military police, who'd made their lives a misery, yet got their relief. Watch out for the master of disguise. You risked the court-martial and firing squad at dawn for desertion, cowardice, or staying home too long. But mutiny was the card that Percy Topless played, and mutiny was had and might just have saved the day. Posing as an officer was something he did well, though from a colliery town you would never tell. He took on high command and gave them merry hell, and without any compromise he bent them to his will. Lions led by donkeys had been set of the British. Fighting was colonial, a picture that fitted Commandante Brigadier General Andrew Graham Thompson, whose nemesis was Topless, and so that general failed. Let's hear it for the master of disguise. A tiny hump in Flanders known as Passchendaele Ridge was where the British captains planned their next offensive. Brought from there the Germans proved impossible to rest, and in the mud 250,000 men they met their deaths. Storms had blown away all British hospital tents when Germans dropped 7 bombs and killed some US heads. America went crazy, but Britons were dismayed, for they had been dying there for years and never fuss was made. Morale was very low, but one thing made it snap. When at the base camp a lad talked to a lass, his tunic was unbuttoned, this was on proper dress. A military policeman shot the soldier dead. So a murder sparked this whole skaboosh. The lad had been a Scotsman, the lass from Aberdeen. This set the Gordon Highlanders up a great head of steam. A piper blasted out their regimental tune, and to the bridge the raving rebels surely they did move. Second Lieutenant James Davis, Royal Fusiliers, faced them off under orders and heard their righteous jeers. But many of those behind him were friends of the mutineers. The piper reached his step and made intentions clear. We got nothing against you, sir, but we must ask you to step aside. We will turn the machine guns against you if you do not comply. So Davis wisely stepped aside, and so was took the bridge. Other officers followed suit, no resistance did they give. So mutineers swept up others like the tide. Down with the red caps, release the prisoners, shouted a Canadian, echoed by his men. Orders came to fire, but obey they would not do. So officers held Three Arch Bridge and fistfights did ensue. Advantage was to the officers, 2 soldiers thrown on the track that took soldiers daily to the front line and back. But this did not last for long, advantage it turned round, and 1,500 mutineers roared into town. Cafes were smashed into, beer and wine rode to the streets. Soldiers were hunting down terrified military police, and those hated redcaps and canaries, trainers at the Bullring, hid in people's houses but still got their heads kicked in. Mutineers had crashed the town and left police for dead. The center of Etapla soon became a wreck, with a bonfire of the barrels, soldiers out of check. For you New Zealanders, Australians, Scotsmen, Irish, Welsh and English, it must have been a bloody Sunday very much relished. However, the report that General Thompson made mentioned stones being thrown, but little gets away. The soldiers from all around the world who stayed at that hell camp, the time had come right there and then to have some of their own back. 100 mutineers crashed an officers' meeting to give them their ultimatum or get burned that evening. Thompson and 12 others were stuffed into a truck and pitched into the river, told to go to. From that point, mutiny spread like wildfire. Bolsheviks in Russia, failed mutiny in France. Deserters in Camia's chalk caves, the Somme and other parts, all now fanned the fires of an insurrection's blaze. And so it was the rioting lasted for 5 days. Not all the actions of the mutineers were on course, such as gang raping the women of the WAAC corps. So a special guard was set up to sentinel their quarters, and a father harpooned a soldier, raping his daughter. Many mutineers linked up with the deserters, living in the woods of nearby Paris plage. Percy Topless too had gravitated down there, where they called him the General, and so they all fell too. Topless said, "Get the police, not the girls," and was obeyed. The second day of mutiny saw Topless and 100 marching to Etapla in the late afternoon, where they met with General Thompson, touring in his staff car, trying to get order and pretty desperate too. His vehicle was rocked till Topless held up his hand. Then the commandante begged he stop the riot. Up on the car's running boards, Topless gave conditions for which General Thompson would come to give permission. The revolt would end when Etapla was thrown open, military police removed, the bull ring closed down. Food and the conditions had to be much better. He stepped down from the running boards and let Thompson go. Private Topless addressed for the occasion. All the conditions that Topless made, they were met. The bullring was closed down and men got better pay. General Graham Thompson was taken out of office. In his place came Field Commander General Haig. Of course, this did not stop the war, that took some more time. But by all reports, the soldiers preferred the front line. With incompetent leaders that mendacity endorsed, sure, the course of history could have been much worse. Francis Percy Topless melted to the scenery, continuing his sublime line in confidence trickery. He was caught one time and put inside a prison, but he easily escaped through a hole he had been digging. Percy Topless, the master of disguise. After escapades of much audacious skill, the force of high command moved in for the kill. With his wanted poster everywhere and being framed for murder, the papers had the best fugitive story ever to occur. He was ambushed and shot by a church in Cumbria, but on what authority was never made too clear. His posthumous trial passed over much felt not fit or right, and a thorough inquiry did not greet the light. And so I ask you as a jury of your time, who was it here that did the most heinous crime? Topless, 23, a racketeer, mutineer, piano player and conman, or officers who killed by proxy millions in these lands? I say let's hear it for the monocled mutineer, an accessory he wore as a badge of his career. A master of disguise so complete to fool them all, a disguise he used to fool the makers of that war. Percy Topless, master of disguise. Percy Topless, master of disguise.